Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming, hosted by yours truly, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, right here on the U to the Two. Whew, it has been a long week, and I'm just now finally getting around to this. I know normally I usually do this on sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday, but had so much stuff going on, a lot of uh, bachata dancing workshops. So I've been busy, been really busy. So I do apologize for the delay. I've actually missed SmackDown and Raw, so I had to watch highlights in order to catch up. But we're gonna carry on strong. Gonna talk a little bit of Stardom, talk a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling. We had a couple of title defenses. We had another Artist of Stardom Trios Championship defense in Stardom. Let's see. I'm going to talk about AEW Road Rager. That is right. AEW is now back on tour as Road Rager took place in Miami. So they're beginning their tour again. So good news there. A couple of surprises that happened. Uh, Gonna talk some Great American Bash. NXT had Great American Bash. Gonna talk a little bit about Jimmy Uso, Naomi, just a lot of craziness going on. Couple of uh injury updates and such. So we got a good bit of meat to talk about as far as pro wrestling. So should be good. Should be really good. Let's go ahead and get right into this, starting out with Stardom. Now, I know they just recently had the SWA Championship on the line, but they haven't uploaded it to Stardom World yet, so I'm gonna wait until I get a chance to see that for myself before I give my thoughts on that. But I will say Cosmic Angels, the Artists of Stardom Trios champions, successfully made their seventh title defense against Queen's Quest, Azumi Saki Kamatani, or excuse me, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashishita, where it was a very back and forth match, and it really looked like Queen's Quest was about to win, but it took a Tiger Suplex from Tam Nakano to Azumi to seal the deal, and the Cosmic Angels retain the Artist of Stardom Trios titles. So definitely a great match there, and they are really looking to continue to set the record. As a matter of fact, it was said that they're going to try to go for at least 10 defenses of these titles. And to be honest with you, I think they have a great shot at doing it. I really think they do. So definitely keep an eye out on them. And it looks like Donna Del Mundo are looking to be the next challengers. Looks like it's going to be Micah, Himeka, and Natsupoi, which, right now, Himeka and Natsupoi are recovering from injuries, but should be returning soon. So that's good news. I know Donna Del Mundo's been kind of thin lately, but it's good to see that they'll be returning soon. So keep an eye out for them. Looks like they're going to be the next challengers. And then we had a recent challenge made for July 17th involving Mayu Iwatani and Oedo Tai. So Mayu Iwatani still wants to aim to get Starlight Kid back in Stars. So Konami proposed a challenge. She's going to give her another opportunity in way of a 5-on-1 match. And it looks like it's an elimination gauntlet style match, I assume. But pretty much, Mayu Iwatani has to beat 5 members of Oedo Tai in order to win the match, to win the whole entire thing. Now, the deal is, if she's able to do that, then if Starlight Kid wants to, she can return to Stars, no questions asked. Or she can stay in Oedo Tai. Pretty much, she'll have the freedom to make her own decision. To be honest with y'all, looking at this, it really wouldn't surprise me if Mayu won this match some way, somehow. But then Starlight Kid still chooses to stay with Oedo Tai. And to be honest with you, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, Starlight Kid's already embracing her new role, her darkness persona. I mean, new ring gear, new mask. I mean, she's pretty much might as well be Darkness Kid, or just a different name that's not Starlight Kid. So, I mean, I just really I really don't see her coming back. But looking at how thin Stars is, I mean, I know they got Koguma, I know they got Anon. I mean, I don't know. I just really feel like Stars is thin. But so I mean, it's not impossible that Starlight Kid could return. I just really feel like Starlight Kid's really embracing this new persona, really embracing being a heel. I mean, new look and everything. So I think deep down, Mayu just may actually win this match. But I think Starlight Kid ends up staying. I don't think she returns to Stars. I don't think she returns. But we'll see what happens. That's July 17th at Takadano Baba. But yeah, she has to beat all 5 members of Oedo Tai. So it's gonna be challenging. I think she can do it, but it's really gonna come down to what Starlight Kid ends up doing after the match. And just to let you know, for those that didn't know, the specific 5 members of Oedo Tai that's going to be in this match are Ruoka, Rina, Saki Kashima, Ukiken Death, and Konami. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I know Natsuko Tora is out with a torn ACL, which they did confirm it was a torn ACL, unfortunately. So she's going to miss a lot of time. A lot of time. And, she's the leader of Oedo Tai. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe Konami will kind of be that interim leader for Oedo Tai, it seems. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that in her match against Utami, she suffered that torn ACL. But looking forward to the 17th, the 5-on-1 Starlight Kid recapture match. Oh man, that's gonna be very interesting. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go on to some New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, had a couple of title matches, and actually one title change. El Desperado made his second defense of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori. And this was a very great match. I was enjoying every bit of it. We got to see El Phantasma get involved. We got to see Yoshinobu Kanemaru get involved. And it was just back and forth. But it took two Pinche Locos from Desperado to Bone Soldier to seal the victory for another successful defense. So, great match. Definitely great match between these two juniors. But afterwards, a certain someone appeared on the screen looking to be the next challenger for the title, and that ended up being a returning Robbie Eagles. That's right. Robbie Eagles has his eyes set on El Desperado's IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And it looks like, I don't know if this is confirmed yet, but it looks like he's going to get his title shot at Wrestle Grand Slam. I believe that's where he's going to get his title shot. But we'll see. We'll see. They're still working on the card for that. But it sounds like... Oh, so he requested for the match to be at Wrestle Grand Slam. So we'll see. It looks like he's going to get it. I think he's going to get it. And it'll be interesting to see how he does. But good to see Robbie Eagles making his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Excuse me. So we had that title match. And then we also had the IWGP tag team titles on the line as the Dangerous Tekkers, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, defended against LIJ's Tetsuya Naito and Sonata. And this was definitely a great tag team match. This went at least over a good 35 minutes. And it was crazy. It was really crazy. But we have new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. That's right. Sonata and Tetsuya Naito got the victory. While Sonata had a hold of Taichi, Tetsuya Naito was able to hit a Destino on Zack Sabre Jr. to get the victory. So, we got Shingo Takagi as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and now we have Sonata and Naito as IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champs. So, LIJ adding some more gold to the group. This is good. This is great. I did feel bad for poor Miho Abe. She was in tears. Man, she was in tears during the entrance with Taichi and after the defeat. Poor Miho Abe. But it is what it is. And Tetsuya Naito got on the mic and he was talking about how it's been forever, like at least a good 10 or so years since he's won IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Gold. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a run him and Sonata have. So this should be good. Should be really good. But LIJ finishing strong in the main event, and we got new tag champs. So congrats to them. A few last things to mention before we finish up New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, Resurgence, August 14th, which I'll actually be at the WWE Super Show that's going to be in Charlotte that day, so I have to catch the archive of this. But Switchblade Jay White's going to be defending the Never Openweight Championship against David Finlay, one half of Finjuice. And this should actually be really good, because if I remember correctly, the last time they wrestled each other, Dave Finlay beat Jay White. So definitely looking forward to this next encounter between these two. Should be really good. And not only that, but Satoshi Kojima is going to get a shot at the Strong Openweight Championship on July 23rd against current champion Filthy Tom Lawler. So it's good to see Cozy Lariat getting a title shot. So that should be really good. I know he's been back and forth on New Japan, NJPW Strong, and on Impact Wrestling. So he's been busy. He's definitely been busy. So looking forward to that. Okay, that's all for New Japan Pro Wrestling for now. Let's get into some AEW. AEW Road Rager. That was held in Miami, Florida to kick off their road tour. So starting out, we had a South Beach strap match as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, of course, with Arn Anderson at his side, went up against QT Marshall, who had the Factory's Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto at his side. Also joining for this event are UFC fighters Amanda Nunes and what was it? Amanda Nunes and Jorge Masvidal, and Dan Lambert was there as well. So got some celebrity fighters up in there, some UFC fighters, very well known, Amanda Nunes and Jorge Masvidal. But anyway, so South Beach strap match. Of course, the thing with this is you have both opponents or both wrestlers with the strap on, with the long strap. And of course, the way to win is with the opponent capacitator or whatever, you have to, with the strap on, you have to go and touch all four corners of the ring, all four turnbuckle pads, whichever, of the ring. Now, it was definitely back and forth. One was whipping the other and vice versa. And even though Aaron Solo was trying to interfere and such, Big Brother Dustin Rhodes came down to pretty much help even the odds. And thankfully, a little bit longer after that, Cody Rhodes was able to take advantage. I believe he hit 2 crossroads on QT Marshall. Yeah, I think it was 2. Or actually, no. It might have been 3. It was 2 or 3. But afterwards, was able to touch all 4 corners and win the match. But that was quite a way to start off this event with this South Beach strap match. And once again, QT Marshall loses to Cody Rhodes. He just can't seem to maintain the upper hand against Cody Rhodes, but it doesn't surprise me either. Then we had a segment with Shawn Spears backstage, bad mouthing Sammy Guevara. Then, of course, Sammy Guevara was able to take him out with a steel chair and shut him up. So that was actually kind of funny. But hey, this rivalry with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, just back and forth, back and forth. And then we had a moment for an interview in the ring with the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, and of course, the annoying Don Callis was with him as well. And of course, he was talking about the big problem with, I've beaten everybody here on AEW. There's nobody to defend the title to, so might as well get to that point where we just go elsewhere and defend the title elsewhere, or just, leave from here, that sort of thing. And then, of course, afterwards, Dark Order came out, or Evil Uno came out, and it's pretty much like, hey, why you keep ignoring Hangman Adam Page? He's number one ranked wrestler in AEW right now on the leaderboards. What's up? Why are you ducking him? Why are you dodging him? Why won't you acknowledge him there, him being there? And then, of course, if I remember correctly, Kenny Omega, I believe, said, "What's the capital of Thailand?" And of course, Bangkok, and went for the low blow, which I thought was a pretty funny transition. And then Dark Order came down, then Good Brothers came down, and it was just back and forth. And then Hangman Adam Page came down, and there was a moment where Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega in the ring. You could feel it. You could feel the tension there. You can feel it. And Kenny Omega was able to get away for now. But you best believe, and I'm really, really hoping that Hangman Adam Page is going to get his title shot. Hopefully, it'll be at Fight for the Fallen, because I'll be going to that show since it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm hoping we get that match. We need that match. We need it. We need it. So, good stuff. Good old JR had a sit-down interview with Darby Allin and Ethan Page, and he just looked very disgusted on how both of these folks are like going all out at each other, wanting to end each other's careers, and just wanting to make the other person suffer and just completely destroy one another. It was just bad. So, but it looks like we are going to have this coffin match between the two. It looks like it's going to be at night one of Fyter Fest. Ethan Page, Darby Allin. So, looking forward to that. We had another showdown between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. It was a 6-man tag match. We had Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, and Jake Hager going up against the Pinnacle's FTR, which is Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and Wardlow. Of course, Inner Circle also had Conan with them. Pinnacle had Tully Blanchard. And this was actually a pretty decent match. I wish it was a little bit longer, but it was still a decent match. And while it looked like Jake Hager had Wardlow, had the ankle lock, but FTR was able to take advantage by hitting the big rig on Jake Hager and get the victory for the Pinnacle. And then the dumbest thing happened after this match. Conan, why the heck would you go into the ring where it's you and 3 other folks in there, the opposing side, and you gonna hit Wardlow in the back with a sock full of, I don't know if it was full of balls or full of nickels or quarter, I don't know. But why are you gonna go in there when you know instantly it's a 3-on-1 and do that? Like, come on, dude. And then Tully Blanchard, took him out from behind, and then Conan, why would you do that, man? K-Dog, come on, dude. I could see if it was 1-on-1 in the ring and you tried to get that shot in, but you tried to get that shot in where there were 3 other people on the opposing team in the ring. Come on, dude. Oh man, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Um, they also talked about how the machine gun, Carl Anderson of the Good Brothers, is going to get a title shot. IWGP US Championship is going to be defended on AEW. Looks like it's going to be part of Fyter Fest Day 1. So John Moxley is going to defend the title against Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Should be good. Should be really good. And then we had an in-ring standoff between MJF and Chris Jericho. And pretty much this was where MJF wanted to lay down the stipulations and such of what it'll take for Chris Jericho to get one last match against MJF. And he wanted to take kind of from example of what Chris Jericho did. So, MJF suggested that Chris Jericho will have to take on 4 opponents, with MJF being the 5th. Now, these 4 opponents that MJF are going to pick, or they're of his choosing. So, Chris Jericho has to win each match, each of those 4 matches, then he gets MJF. Now, I am under the impression that these opponents aren't necessarily going to be from the Pinnacle. I think they're going to be not so much random, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be very specific opponents. But I assume that they're not all from the Pinnacle. I wouldn't imagine them being from the Pinnacle. So this will be interesting. But yeah, that's the quest, the mission that Jericho has to go through to get another match with MJF. He can beat 4 opponents straight. He gets a match with MJF. Here's the crazy thing about it. Each match will have a specific stipulation. Each one. All with a different stipulation. Whew. So not only does he have to win 4 matches to even get the 5th match with MJF, but all 5 of these matches are going to have their own stipulation. It's not looking good for Jericho, but they had a contract for this. Chris Jericho did sign the contract. And MJF is like, hey, let's really seal this with a handshake. Shake my hand. Which Chris Jericho did shake his hand, but that wasn't enough. Jericho gave him a parting gift by way of a Judas effect elbow. And the way MJF sold that Judas effect and dropped was just so hilarious. The look on his face was just, oh my God, it was so funny. But yeah, Jericho had the last laugh in that segment. And then we got a segment with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and oh my goodness, did she fire a shot at WWE or what? I mean, she even mentioned blood money, Saudi Arabia. I was like, dang, like that was crazy. That was really crazy. But Nyla Rose is going to get her title shot against Dr. Britt Baker on night 2 of Fyter Fest. So this is getting more and more heated between these two. But Looking forward to it. Because remember, Dr. Britt Baker still to this day has not defeated Nyla Rose. So it looks like she might end up finally beating her at Fyter Fest Night 2. So we'll see what happens. Andrade El Idolo made his AEW in-ring debut against Matt Sydal. And this was a pretty even matchup between these two. Like, and you know what? I'm thankful for this match because it wasn't just Andrade versus some jobber. It was literally Andrade El Idolo and Matt Sydal, another great wrestler. Both high flyers, both went back and forth. And I definitely enjoyed this match. And I was really digging the entrance gear for Andrade El Idolo. I was definitely digging that. But this was definitely back and forth between the two. But of course, Andrade was able to get the victory. Planted Matt Sydal with the El Idolo after hitting the running double knees. And actually gave him a little bit of extra after the match. But yeah, Andrade El Idolo definitely showing no mercy. Definitely made an impact on AEW Road Rager. It was also announced as part of Fyter Fest Night 1. We're going to get Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage. Two individuals that know each other very, very well. Of two respective tag teams that have gone at it for so many years. So it'll be good to see these two go at it again in singles competition. And then we had the biggest surprise, I would say, the biggest surprise of this event. So Tony Schiavone was getting ready to interview Arn Anderson, and Arn Anderson began to speak, and then the lights went out, and then all of a sudden, Aleister Black, well now in AEW, Malachi Black, aka Tommy N, appeared in the ring and hit Arn Anderson with a black mass spin kick. And then Cody Rhodes ran into the ring to care for Arn Anderson. And as it looked like Malachi Black was about to back off and leave, he then blasted Cody Rhodes with a black mass kick. And just, wow. Like, the crowd went crazy, like, from the moment that he appeared. And he just had the dark look on his face, and then, of course, he cracked a smile as well. But yeah, and it's official. Malachi Black, aka Tommy End, is now All Elite. Now, one thing I wanted to pause and explain about, because I did get word on this. So, I imagine a lot of folks were like, wait a minute, he just got let go from the WWE. Don't they have that 90-day non-compete clause that they have to abide by before they can sign anywhere else? Normally, they do. But this was a very weird case that thankfully Malachi Black was able to take advantage of and get right back into the mix of the action. So the word is, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but word is when Malachi Black went from NXT to the main roster, normally in NXT, if you get let go, it's a 30-day non-compete clause. And if it's from the main roster, it's a 90-day non-compete clause. Apparently, they forgot to update his contract when he went from NXT to the main roster. Therefore, when he was let go, the 30-day non-compete clause was still what was in effect instead of the 90-day non-compete clause. So, I mean, a month versus 3 months, big difference. Big difference. So, I definitely was like, wow, way to go. Way to take advantage. Way to, see that key piece for him to be able to get back into the action and sign with AEW. Because I had heard rumors that he was close to signing with AEW before all of this happened. So it didn't surprise me too much, but just with how quickly he was able to appear. I mean, the first show on tour was a big deal. Very big deal. So that was a very, very nice surprise to kick this AEW tour off. Malachi Black is now all elite. So good to see him. And I am really hoping that AEW takes good care of him, books him well. Malachi Black, an excellent wrestler. Excellent wrestler that really was used very well in NXT, but just was not used well at all to his full potential on the main roster in WWE. So I really hope that AEW will really capitalize now that he's with AEW. We had ourselves a mixed tag team grudge match. We had Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy going up against the Blade and the Bunny. Now, of course, this was a pretty decent match between these two teams, and I tell you, I really do enjoy watching Orange Cassidy wrestle. The dude is such a trip. But this was definitely quite enjoyable, very entertaining. The Blade was about to take advantage with some brass knucks as the Bunny slid some brass knucks in, was able to knock out Orange Cassidy, but in the midst of him getting knocked out, Chris Statlander was able to slip her hand in and make the tag, whereas in the Blade and the Bunny didn't realize it, and Chris Statlander was able to take out the Bunny and finish her with the Big Bang Theory to get the victory. So, good awareness by Chris Statlander to get the victory for her team. And I can imagine that the Blade and the Bunny were pretty pissed. But yeah, awareness. Very, very important. And then there was a segment where Dan Lambert came in, was pretty much bashing AEW, talking about how AEW sucks and this, that, and the other. And then Lance Archer came out and pretty much just took him out for disrespecting AEW and such. But I thought this was a very random segment. I felt like this could have been left out, but yeah, it just very, very random segment. And then we have the main event, the AEW World Tag Team Championship match, street fight rules, as the Young Bucks defend the titles against Eddie Kingston and Penta El Cielo Miedo. And I tell you, this was definitely a crazy match, back and forth. I mean, we saw all sorts of stuff being used. Tables, we saw trash cans, saw chairs. I mean, we got the works. We got the works. Brandon Cutler had the cold freeze spray. I mean, we saw everybody get involved. Brandon Cutler, Saw Michael Nakazawa get involved. We saw Frankie Kazarian get involved. Like, it was just crazy. We saw the Good Brothers get involved, took out Kazarian with a magic killer. We even saw a bag of tacks, thumbtacks, be introduced. And I tell you, it was just carnage this entire match, but it was very entertaining. And I tell you, the crazy thing that happened, Nick Jackson hit a Hurricane Rana on with Penta onto thumbtacks. And then Matt Jackson super kicks Eddie Kingston while he had thumbtacks in his mouth. Like, wow. But yeah, it was crazy. Crazy ending, but once again, Young Bucks retain after that super kick to Eddie Kingston with a mouthful of thumbtacks, got the pin. Young Bucks still AEW World Tag Team Champions. And that is how you end AEW Road Rager. So great start to this tour. You had the big surprise with Malachi Black. You have the in-ring debut of Andrade El Idolo. I'd say this was a pretty solid main event. Thumbs up to you, AEW. Good stuff. Okay, now we're going to get into some WWE. But first, I want to send out a big congratulations to Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks as they won an ESPYs award for WWE Moment of the Year, which the Moment of the Year was their main event match at this year's WrestleMania, where Bianca Belair defeated Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. These ladies made history. First time two sisters main evented a WrestleMania. History making, memorable at its finest. So, congratulations to those two ladies. Very much deserved, very much earned. Alright, so like I said, I had to watch highlights from Raw and SmackDown in order to catch up. So I won't spend too much time on those two. But there was a Miz TV segment, and apparently Matt Riddle was on top of the ladder, got toppled over. We had John Morrison get a victory over Ricochet by countout, which of course the Miz chimed in with the assist. Oh man. This is kind of a bummer because it's like I want to see these two go at it to the point where one pins the other. Like this count out and then double count out, just this is stupid. Like let these two wrestle a great match to the finish of a pin or submission. Can we at least get that? I mean, two greats like John Morrison and Ricochet, two high flyers, like come on, we at least deserve that. We had a 8-woman tag team match. It was Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Eva Marie, and Piper Niven, because I refuse to say the name they gave her, going up against Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Naomi. And apparently Nia Jax got the victory for her team. I believe she pinned Nikki Cross, had a Samoan drop, but of course Eva Marie had to go in and announce that, the winner of the match, Eva Marie, And from what I saw, Eva Marie didn't wrestle. And it's gotten to the point where it's getting ridiculous. But at least she didn't wrestle. At least she didn't wrestle. But it's like, ugh, goodness gracious. We had Mustafa Ali versus Mansoor, which I know these two have interacted quite a bit lately. Mustafa Ali was able to get a roll up victory on Mansoor. Yeah. We had Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre, two friends, formerly part of 3MB. And Drew McIntyre got the disqualification victory, but Jinder Mahal's Veer and Shanky pretty much interfered to cause disqualification. Let's see, you had the Lucha House Party defeat Mason T-Bar. That was shocking. That was very shocking. Not to mention oh man. That's weird. That's very weird. But whichever. Um there was also a moment where apparently, hold up. Drew McIntyre talked about his sword, which I guess is Claymore sword, and apparently it's made from the fangs of the Loch Ness monster. Really? Really? That's the best y'all could come up with? didn't didn't a long while ago, wasn't it Sheamus and Drew McIntyre that we kind of found out the origin behind that sword? Because wasn't it Sheamus that reminded Drew to take up that sword and such? So now the sword is from the fangs of the Loch Ness monster. Oh my god. Moving on. Riddle got a victory over AJ Styles, a roll up victory. Ugh. But of course, the Viking Raiders had a distracted AJ Styles in order to help Riddle get the roll up victory. Jackson Riker and R-Truth teamed up against Cedric Alexander and Elias, which R-Truth and Jackson Riker have had a few interactions lately. But Elias walked away once again. And it's like, dang, y'all making Elias to be this little chump. It's like now he's scared of Jackson Riker, lost a bunch of matches, and now just want to walk away and not want to deal with him. It's like, dang, y'all done turned Elias into a chump. It's just sad. But of course, Riker and Truth got the victory. And then we had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeat Bobby Lashley and MVP, which, it was at least good to see MVP back in the ring. So I was happy to see that. I was definitely happy to see that. But just got some more build up for their upcoming Money in the Bank match, Lashley and Kofi. But if anything, I'm just happy to see MVP back in the ring, so that's cool. But yeah. But that's Raw for you. NXT. We had the Great American Bash. Started off with the tag team titles on the line, the NXT tag team titles, where MSK went up against Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. And I was definitely loving this match. It was just really unfortunate that this ended in a roll up victory for MSK. Like, oh man, you don't want to get so crazy on roll up finishes, especially in title matches. They're just really annoying. Because this match was solid, just did not like the finish at all. Did not like the finish at all. But got to give it up for these two teams going at it strong, and just MSK on top. And I was definitely happy to see them retain the titles and continue to push forward. We had a segment with Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano where it was announced that next week, well, this coming week, Johnny Gargano will get a shot at the NXT Championship against Karrion Kross, and the special guest referee will be the Enforcer, Samoa Joe. I really much would have liked to have seen the match right there on Great American Bash. You had Great American Bash right there, and you don't even have the NXT Championship defended on that special show. It's a that's a big thumbs down there. I mean, the segment, I mean, I guess was okay, but it's like, come on now, y'all right there on Great American Bash, y'all could have had the match there. Y'all could have had. It's the NXT Championship. I mean, you had the NXT Championship defended last year at last year's Great American Bash. You had a winner takes all. So this was a big thumbs down. All right, we had LA Knight defend the $1 million championship against Cameron Grimes, where, of course, if Cameron Grimes loses, he would have to become LA Knight's butler. Um, I really liked the story told in this match. This was really good. The fans were behind Cameron Grimes. Of course, you know I was behind Cameron Grimes, you know, being a fellow North Carolinian. I love my North Carolinians. And this was a great match. This was definitely a great match. And it all shattered for Cameron Grimes. It took a DDT onto the $1 million title. And then, even though Cameron Grimes was able to get back into the ring to beat the 10 count, LA Knight was able to hit a BFT in order to seal the deal and not only retain $1 million championship, but Cameron Grimes now has to be LA Knight's personal butler. Yeah, not looking good at all for Cameron Grimes. But, I mean, you know, it was LA Knight's first defense, so I didn't expect him to lose the title on his first defense. So, the right person won. Now, we had the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the line as Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, the champs, the Way, defended against Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Now, the match was decent. Okay, I'll say this because I have mixed feelings about this match, how this all went down. Now, this is not a knock against Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. They definitely look to have in-ring chemistry together. I will give them that. And it definitely showed in this match, as it did in previous matches. But at the end of this match, or near the end, you had the lights go out. You see the battery graphic appear fully charged, and then surprise, as I called it, it was a returning Tegan Knox. The woman with the shiniest wizard. Made the distraction, and Io Shirai and Zoe Stark were able to take advantage. Zoe Stark was able to hit the I think it's called the K360 onto Indy Hartwell, and Zoe Stark and Io Shirai are your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And of course, Tegan Knox chased off Candice LeRae, beat her up a little bit, chased her off. And then, of course, later on, Dexter Lumis came out to the ring and picked up and carried Indy Hartwell out. Okay. Here's my thing with this. Now, this is not a knock on Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. But come on, y'all. This is the fourth women's tag team champions in what, 4 months of the NXT women's tag titles debuting? That's not a good look. These tag titles have been hot potatoed so many times. I mean, think about it. Let's look at it. The first champs were Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, being that they won the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic. Now, you present these new titles. They get them by default. From winning the Dusty Cup, they get them by default. And being that, they had the controversial loss to Shayna and Nia. So they awarded them with these NXT Women's Tag Team titles. And they defended them the same night and lost in the same night to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. All right, Shotzi and Ember. I think they had what? Maybe 1 or 2 successful defenses? Maybe 1. And then they lost the tag titles to the Ways, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell, which was a great match. I will say, was a great match. Definitely main event worthy. That was a great match. And then you have Zoe Stark and Io Shirai, which I believe this was either their first or second defense. And Io and Zoe defeat the Way with the segment of ushering Tegan Knox back into NXT. Because while it is true that Candice LeRae was the last person that she interacted with, took her out while she was on the shelf, the third torn ACL. But right there, or Io and Zoe are your 4th NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And just around under 4 months? Maybe less? That's not good. Not to mention, despite the chemistry these two ladies have, it's a random tag team. It's a random tag team. I know with Indy and Candice LeRae, they're in the same faction, and I know Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are besties, but Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, let's be honest, that's kind of a random tag team, but not as random as others. Definitely not as random as Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Like, and the thing that's bad about it is Io respects Zoe but doesn't like Zoe. So you already know that it's going to get to the point where Io is probably most likely going to turn on Zoe, especially probably once they lose the tag titles, which I'm pretty sure they're not going to have a long tag title run. They might hold on to these titles maybe into the next takeover, but I really don't see these two having a legit tag title run. If anything, it's another way of giving Io Shirai a title, saying, hey, she's another woman that's won the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. But I mean, yeah. So I just have those mixed feelings about this scenario. Hit Row had their North American title cipher. I mean, I was cool with it. I thought it was pretty neat just to see them perform. Some of my friends they thought it was trash, but I don't know. I was okay with it. But yeah, each of the members of Hit Row freestyle. I take it was mainly a freestyle, but it was nice. I was digging it. I was digging it. And then the main event, we had Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. And oh man, they tore each other apart. It's always great to see these two in the ring against each other. They have quite a rivalry, even, here, but even in ROH. These two could definitely consistently put on instant classic matches. But it was Adam Cole that was the victor in this match. And I tell you, he pummeled Kyle O'Reilly. And when you think about it, Adam Cole is pretty much up on their meetings, because you got to remember the match that Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in was actually an unsanctioned match, so it doesn't count on the record books. But Adam Cole was the victor, and that concluded Great American Bash for this year. And to be honest with y'all, I thought this was weak versus last year's Great American Bash. I mean, come on, you didn't have your singles NXT Women's Championship defended, nor did you have the NXT Championship defended. Like, this was kind of a weak Great American Bash. I'm not saying the matches were terrible or anything like that. The matches were good, but the card, like, really? You don't have your top women's title and your top main title defended? That's not a good look. That's not a good look. That's no. That's not a good look. So, NXT UK. So, I was actually really enjoying this episode. We had a really good match between Kenny Williams and Nathan Frazier. Although I would have loved to see Nathan Frazier get the victory. Kenny Williams, who's been on a roll since his heel turn, so they're gonna keep that momentum going for quite a bit. It's got the new look and everything like that. But Kenny Williams got the victory, and he's been on fire. He's definitely been on fire, and have to look to see who he aims for next, because he's slowly rising the ranks on NXT UK. But good opening match. Definitely a good opening match. You had Mark Andrews of Subculture went up against Lewis Howley. Was able to defeat Lewis Howley, which is one half of Pretty Deadly. One half of the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. But not only did Mark Andrews get this victory, but getting this victory sealed the deal to earn them a tag title shot. So definitely looking forward to that. And of course, Danny Luna was defining factor, her and Flash Morgan Webster, when Sam Stoker tried to distract the referee. The rest of Subculture was there for the partner Mark Andrews, to even things out. But yeah, Mark Andrews got the victory that earned the tag title shot for him and Flash Morgan Webster. We had the debuting Blair Davenport, aka B. Priestley, going up against Laura Di Matteo. And I tell you, I was definitely digging this. It's great to see her in NXT UK. And of course, she got the victory in great, stunning fashion. She hit a B trigger, and then she hit a Kamagoye. So it would probably would have been nice to see Queen's Landing, but it's okay. You know, she's also known for using the Kamagoye. But it was cool to see her hit a B trigger and then a Kamagoye to get the victory. And she grabbed a mic, talked a little bit of smack on the mic. You know, she's here, she's in NXT UK, putting all the women on notice, even Meiko Satomura. And she vows to be the best and to be NXT UK Women's Champion. And you best believe she has a good chance of dethroning Meiko Satomura. So, business definitely picked up with her arrival. Women's division is going to get very interesting. And then speaking of the women's division, before we get into the main event, Aoife Valkyrie, Jenny. There was a segment where Jenny is talking about how she is going to expose Aoife Valkyrie. So it's a matchup I'm definitely looking forward to. I like both these ladies. I think Jenny is a great heel. And I like Aoife Valkyrie because she's been on a roll despite the one loss against Meiko Satomura. The only thing that just upsets me about the whole scenario is why hasn't Aoife Valkyrie even gotten a title shot? But I hope she eventually gets one. I mean, she's been long overdue. I mean, she only has one loss. She only has one loss. Give her a title shot. Anyway, main event was Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis. And this was hard hitting on both accounts. And I tell you, even when it seemed like it was about to swing in Eddie Dennis's way, especially after hitting that Splash Mountain powerbomb, T-Bone and Primate was looking to interfere, but even though it wasn't enough for Eddie Dennis to conquer Trent Seven was able to hit a Burning Hammer on Eddie Dennis to get the victory. And of course, afterwards, T-Bone and Primate just came in and just started pummeling on Trent Seven. And then Tyler Bate hit the ring. Of course, was there for his Mustache Mountain tag team partner and mentor. And pretty much helped clear it out T-Bone, Eddie Dennis, and Primate. And even whipped out some nunchucks. Tyler Bate whipped out some nunchucks. And then Primate's dumb self decided to test him by charging into the ring after him. And then he got whacked good in the stomach. I'm like, dude, why the heck would you go into the ring with an armed dude and you have nothing to counter that? So the nunchuck wielding Tyler Bate got the last laugh. But yeah, Mustache Mountain standing tall. But it looks like it's not over between Eddie Dennis and Trent Seven, and have to see how things go next go around. But it was a pretty dang on good main event. I really had no complaints. Okay, and then SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown. So this was interesting. When I checked out the highlights, I was like, this is weird. So before I get into this, Jimmy Uso, gonna talk a little bit about Jimmy Uso because he was there for SmackDown, and of course Jay Uso returned as well. But what a lot of the buzz is with Jimmy Uso, so he just recently got another DUI. Um, this is nothing new, unfortunately. You know, he's kind of had issues with alcohol and such, and thankfully he's still able to continue. I guess it looks like he's not getting crazy punished or whatnot, but I hope it definitely, I hope he definitely gets some help. But a lot of folks are attacking at Naomi to the point where she ended up deactivating her Twitter or Instagram, something like that. Like, what the heck, y'all? Why attack Naomi? I mean, I understand that's his wife, but you have to also realize that Jimmy Uso is a grown man that can make his own decisions. Whether there was some influence or not, this was on him. But attacking Naomi, like, come on, bashing her. I mean, is she already gets enough crap with what she deals with just at work, not getting the opportunities, and just it's already bad enough she's going through that. But now you're gonna attack her because of Jimmy Uso? Like, really? And then folks want to talk about cyberbullying's not a big deal. People need to be more, you stop being so sensitive. Like, y'all need to grow up. Y'all need to grow up. The folks that talk like that, dang on well, each one of y'all have had a situation in your lives where y'all were bullied or somebody looked down on you at some point. It's happened to the best of us. And if you're saying that there was a point where you didn't feel hurt or damaged by something somebody else said or did, then you're freaking lying. And I'm saying that from the heart. You're lying. That's happened to anybody and everybody. Whether it's once, twice, a million times, it doesn't matter. But to bash Naomi like that, it's ridiculous. It's freaking ridiculous and totally uncalled for. Folks that have bashed her, folks bashing Zelina Vega, like, y'all need to get real. Y'all need to get real. But for Jimmy Uso, I do hope that he's able to get help, get clean. You don't want another, you know, situation kind of related to, what Jeff Hardy went through. I'm hoping he's able to get help cuz addictions can happen to anybody. Alcohol, porn, drugs, happen to anybody. The main thing is to encourage, uplift others, and really hope that they get the help that they need. So I'm hoping that Jimmy Uso is able to do that, and hopefully he can bounce back from this and continue to move forward. But now that I got that out of the way, SmackDown. So, the family's back together. It looks like the Usos and Roman Reigns are all on one accord. They embraced with a hug. Main thing specified was, we're going to do this. We're going to do this my way, the Roman Reigns way, the head of the table way. So, there's that. But, looks like the family is on the same page. We had a Money in the Bank qualifying match, King Nakamura versus Baron Corbin, which, I mean, you can already guess what happened here. King of Strong Style got the victory and qualifies for the Money in the Bank, and just Baron Corbin's continuous downward spiral just is getting worse and worse. I mean, losing his crown, getting his car towed. Just, he looks a mess. He looks a mess. So, yeah. And then we had an interesting segment that I'm still confused by, but I've heard rumors about what led to this. So Natalia and Tamina, the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, ended up taking on a new tag team. Well, they're not new. I mean, they've teamed up before. Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart make their SmackDown debut, defeating Natalia and Tamina. Okay. So you just had Tegan Nox return on NXT, fight off and chase off Candice LeRae, you know, the woman that put her out of action. And then later in the week, you have her on SmackDown, teamed up with Shotzi Blackheart. Which, like I said, these two have teamed up before. Remember, long time ago, last year, they had a tag title shot against, I believe it was against Bayley and Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks and Bayley defended the tag titles against Shotzi and Tegan on NXT. So, one of the few times that those titles were defended on NXT. But this was weird. Two NXT stars making their debut at the same time on SmackDown and defeating the women's tag champs. So, rumor is that. So the first rumor that I heard was that I was told at one point that Ember Moon might have gotten hurt, but then I heard another rumor that Ember Moon had a chance to join Shotzi Blackheart back on the main roster, but declined to and opted to stay on NXT, which I don't blame her. So instead of Ember Moon, they decided to bring up Tegan Nox. But the thing is, the timing of it just makes no sense. You just brought her back where it looked like she was going to be feuding with Candice LeRae, the one that took her out. But now you have her on SmackDown. I don't get it. I don't get it. And my thing with this is, why can't y'all have these ladies get called up as singles wrestlers? Tegan Nox just came back, and already you freaking have her on a tag team. Why can't she return as a singles? If you're gonna bring her on SmackDown, bring her as a single star. Same with Shotzi. Why can't Shotzi be a single star? Come on, y'all. And no offense to these two ladies, but Shotzi and Tegan are a random tag team. They're a random tag team. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. Just the timing. I, not only that, Shotzi I thought was gonna end up feuding with Raquel Gonzalez because Raquel was who took her out. But I guess that's not gonna happen. Anyway, let me move on. So there was a segment where Bailey was on I guess satellite or on screen, and unfortunately shared that she had suffered an injury, which apparently the word is she suffered this injury while training, and it's bad enough that she is going to be missing at least 9 months. Was what was said, what the reports say. So pretty much she's going to miss the rest of this year. So, and I do like the fact that Bailey stayed in character when she told about her injury. So from that transition to Sonya Deville making some changes. So with Bailey injured, Bianca Belair doesn't have an opponent for Money in the Bank. So Carmella was chosen by Sonya to take Bailey's place, and now Carmella will get the title shot for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. Liv Morgan comes out. She's pissed. She's like, what the heck? You still haven't even confirmed me for Money in the Bank or anything like that, and I've won like the past couple of matches. But Sonya Deville cleared it up and was like, hey, because Carmella is in this title match, you take her spot at Money in the Bank. You're on. Which it shouldn't have come down to that, but it looks like this is going to be a developing story of just animosity between Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. So we'll see how that transpires. But yeah, and of course Bianca Belair had a few words as well. You know, was kind of there to get in the last word about Bailey and about Carmella. And we had the last men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, and Seth Rollins got the victory. Oh, man. I'm really bummed at this. Seth Rollins in the Money in the Bank, who's very capable of winning it again. You know, something that he's done before. So, I really wanted Cesaro to win, honestly. But Seth Rollins wins. And then to close out SmackDown, Edge called out Roman Reigns. And the Usos came out. And while it looked like, you know, the segment was going to, I guess, eventually turn into a 3-on-1, apparently the Mysterios came in, had Edge's back, and actually helped Edge take out the Usos. I mean, dang. That was crazy. But like I said, I really like what they're doing with this, and it's just more story, more build up for their match. Their one-on-one match at Money in the Bank. Which should have been at WrestleMania, but not going to go into that. But that was SmackDown. Oh, I also wanted to throw in there that they started showing a vignette of Toni Storm coming soon to SmackDown. So you go from Toni Storm on NXT declining a challenge from Saray, and now she's coming soon to SmackDown. Man, they're just. I don't know if it's a desperate need to get more ladies or more superstars on the main roster, but just I don't know if this was a shot at AEW for them getting Malachi Black and then them trying to upstage them by, hey, we got a returning Tegan Knox, and we're calling up Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart to the main roster. We're getting ready to call up Toni Storm to the main roster. It's just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. So here's the thing. So we have our 8 men for the men's Money in the Bank. We got Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Ricochet, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Those are your 8 men that'll be participating in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. For the women, which I'm guessing they're still going to try to fill, because they still got 2 more slots to fill. So right now, they have Zelina Vega, Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan. Now, originally Carmella was there, but she got taken out of the Money in the Bank match and replaced Bayley for the championship match. So, I mean, when you think about it, the men have 4 guys from SmackDown, 4 guys from Raw. For the women, I mean, you pretty much have your Raw ladies in Naomi, Asuka, Alexa, Nikki Cross. Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan are from SmackDown, so I assume the next 2 ladies are going to be from SmackDown, which, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to do Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart. It's like, hey, our newest additions, let's throw them in there. Or, I don't know, maybe Toni Storm will debut this coming Friday and then she'll get announced for Money in the Bank. And there were even rumors and talks about potentially Sonya Deville making her in-ring return by putting herself in the Money in the Bank match. So, we'll have to see what happens, but it looks like the last 2 ladies, if they're going to do 8 ladies, looks like the last 2 ladies are going to have to be from SmackDown. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, but we'll go over the card this Friday or Saturday. But we got the go home week this week, so it should be interesting. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, this was a long episode, but that is all for now. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Let me know what y'all think about Stardom. What do you think about the upcoming 5-on-1 match? Mayu versus Oedo Tai to try to save Starlight Kid. What did y'all think of the AEW Road Rager now that AEW's back on tour? What did you think about Malachi Black? It's all elite now. New Japan Pro Wrestling, we got new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions in Sonata and Tetsuya Naito. We got Robbie Eagles. It's going to be returning, challenging El Desperado for that IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship once the match at Wrestle Grand Slam on July 25th at the Tokyo Dome. So we'll see if he gets that. We have a returning Tegan Knox. We have Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart debuting on SmackDown. We got a vignette that Toni Storm is coming to SmackDown. But yeah, Let me know what y'all's thoughts on everything that was discussed in this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll catch every video that I release. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all soon. Take care, everybody.